So after 3 lovely days in Rovani, we are heading back to Pula, where we started this whole adventure again. At the moment it's a very calm day. There's not much going on wind-wise. Lots and lots of sunshine. Candice has just had a hot shower. Was it a hot shower? No, I forgot to turn the water heater on yesterday. She's had a lukewarm shower, hopefully. And we're going past Brioni National Park. We're not allowed in their waters, so we're going to skim along the edges of their waters. And then we're heading south to Pula. And we're going to probably anchor in a little beach called Stoya, which is just off the big supermarket actually. So we can do some grocery shopping. And it's got very clear water, lovely to swim, and campsite on land, so a nice place to walk the dogs, and yeah, just enjoy. I don't know if the camera is going to pick it up, but there's huge clumps of floating, almost like seaweed or algae. Okay, there's picked up a few, but lots of it and really big.
And it's not on the surface.
There's another big one, yeah. It's all like a couple of meters below the surface. Never seen that before.
It's a high one.
Yeah.
It's like a
Loads
colour.
and loads and loads of it. If anyone knows, let me know what it is or why it's there. Oh, there's a lot. So interesting. Both sides.
And there wasn't a big storm or anything.
No storms. Looks like it's getting more, huh? Alright, now there is just tons and tons of it. The stuff that's... Let me zoom out in fact. The stuff that's on the surface looks very similar to what we saw in a marina, I don't know, a couple of days ago, where it was floating on the surface, and when the dinghy went through it, it lit up like at night. So maybe this is lots of phosphorescence, I'm not sure. But there is so much of it here. Some floating on the surface. When you splash the water, I'll touch the video clip, you just saw it light up. It's very, very pretty. Not so pretty in the day. So the wind turned southeast and quite bumpy. Blew up quite big seas. Southeast also means that our anchorage in Stoya wouldn't work. So instead we're going into the Pula Bay. We're going to anchor there for a while. The wind does change direction and then die down completely later, so we might get to Stoya soon. But for now we are heading into Pula, past the cranes. I've got about 10-50 on each motor, and we're doing 4.6, 4.9, 4.7, probably about 4.7 knots on average. And we're going to go and spend the day in Pula. So about 2100 watts going into the motors, 5.1, 4.9, 5.1 knots is what I'd expect. The seas are still lumpy, but it's coming from the sides, as is the wind. There's a ferry going past over there, and I think we're still charging at about 100 or 200 watts, so we've got about 2.5 to about 6,000 watts of solar coming in. And because it's too bumpy for going into Stoya, we are heading into Pula Bay, which is in that direction over there. And Candice, what are you up to? What's for lunch today?
A little bit bare afterwards.
Our cupboard is empty. We thought we'd be at a shopping mall today, but we've got tins. We always have tins, and
red pesto.
Candice has become a red pesto addict, so if you know how to deal with red pesto addictions, please let me know. And why have you got leopard prints on your head? Nice. So we're going to go past Marina Polisana, and one of our friend boats, Wallow, is over there, so we're going to go and say hi. and that means I'm going quite slowly. I've only got 250 watts on each motor, so 500 watts in total. But it's one of the things that really amazes me is how efficient boats are at low power settings. I mean, I'm doing 2.9, 2.7 knots, 2.9 knots on just 500 watts of power. And basically what that means is, I could do this indefinitely. It doesn't matter if the sun is shining, the sun is not shining, if it's nighttime. At this speed I could literally set an autopilot and go to bed and sail around the world without having to worry about power. And most boats could get 500 plus watts of solar power onto them. And you always read about boats that are becalmed in the doldrums and things like that, and it just makes so much sense to have a little bit of auxiliary power that when there's no wind and the sun is shining, you can just motor along really nice and slowly, nice and quietly. 500 watts, 2.9 knots. Let's go and see what the motors look like at that speed. Very nice and quiet, just ticking along and moving us at 3 knots. And at the moment, with 500 watts going to the motors, I'm busy charging at 1,700 watts, so my battery is going to be full in next to no time. I find these kinds of boats really cute. At first I thought it was a work boat, but now I can see it's a Nordic Tug 37, and it looks like a great little trolling style boat, or tugboat. See, they've got the dinghy on the roof. There's the owner going up to it over there.
Your friend's coming up, you should call him.
Ah yes, our friends Wallow will be on this bridge somewhere, so let me give them a quick call. And we've just arrived in Pula. We're in the Pula Bay. It's an anchorage you've got to pay for, but you don't have to pay much. But I don't think we'll be staying overnight, so maybe we'll be up and in Stoya before we actually have to pay. We'll see how things go. It's quite green. Lots of nice scenery around. Were you much happier being out of those big waves? It was quite big. Today was the steepest I've had on this boat. I thought we buried the nose at one section going down a wave. We're here by the old train station, and I see they've got a brand new train over there. I think that's the new train station, and in the distance is the Pula Arena, which is kind of like a mini Colosseum, and they have movies and shows and stuff on inside there, and music concerts and that. We were here once when Bryan Adams was here, and he had a giant super yacht parked in that direction. We woke up early this morning to leave Pula. It's 7 o'clock, and we have a super yacht on its way out ahead of us. And we're going not far. We're only going 6 miles. It's actually, as the crow flies, it's probably only about 1.5 miles from where we were. Maybe 2 miles. But as the boat drives, it's six nautical miles. And we didn't charge this morning, so the batteries are probably on about 80% after cooking our dinner last night. And I've got 940, 950ish on each motor, so about 1.85 kilowatts. We're doing 4.2 knots. We're bouncing over a wake. That slows you down a bit. And we're heading south, just a little bit south. Where you see these boys in the front is quite a famous cave that people like to go into. There's a lot of kayak tours that go in. It goes quite deep and it's got a bend in it. And our friends were telling us they went in at night in their dinghy and turned the bend and then turned their headlamp off, and they said it was the darkest dark they've ever seen in their life. You couldn't see your fingers in front of your eyes. And we've just arrived in Stoya. We're still moving, we're going to go and anchor, but I see we've got a sup yoga class going on in the bay. Are you going to try that, darling? Hey, darling.
Hey, sweetie.
What are we doing?
We are moving, but we are just about to see dolphins.
Oh, really? Okay.
I have a good feeling.
You have a good feeling. Yeah, we're doing a bit of a sunset sail.
What's going to happen?
Yeah, there's a thunderstorm predicted tonight, and the bay we're anchored in is not the best bay for holding. So we're going to go and grab a mooring ball for the night, in a place that's protected almost by 360 degrees, and where there's certainly going to be a ship with a taller mast than us. In fact, any other boat's got a taller mast than us.
And the breakfast boat is going to come past.
And the breakfast boat. We love the breakfast boat. There's a couple of guys out there on those, what do they call them? Hoverboards for the water. I can't remember what they call them. Foiling boards, e-foilers. So it's quite late at night. It is 6:30, so we're not pulling in a lot of solar. I think I've got about, it's overcast at the moment, so not much at all. But I've only got 650 watts on each motor, and I'm doing 4 knots, which is great. Let's see if I can turn the camera around and show you quickly. So you can see 650 watts on each motor and 4 knots, 3.8, 4 knots.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I heard that some music can attract dolphins, so I'm trying to attract the dolphins.
It's a beautiful light out at the moment.
Yeah.
You look good too. Very pretty shoreline on the other side. I think it's all part of a big hotel complex, or at least it's fenced off by a big hotel complex, but there's a couple of really deep ravines inside there. I can only imagine that the big hole on the right is it a cave, or is it a cave that was converted into some armament, is what I suspect. A lot of people up there looking at the view. Very unusual boat in front over there. Never seen anything like that. I wonder if it's civilian or maybe an official military boat or something. Okay, which way do I need to go?
Stop.
Star?
Starboard.
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 Have you learnt those terms?
I have.
How do you remember them?
Well, if you look at our boat, we have the port and the galley side. So port is what you keep in the kitchen because you drink it.
Okay.
And then on the other side is starboard.
Why?
Because that's where I am, the starboard.
You sleep on the starboard side.
I sleep on the starboard side.
So the star's on the starboard.
The star is on the starboard.
Excellent. And that was it, closing the loop on our trip from Pula all the way to Venice and all the way back again. This over here is the bay called Banjole. It's a free anchorage spot, and as you can see, very well protected. That's the only entryway for waves to come in, and the rest is completely blocked off. In the next video, we're going to go to the most southern tip of Istria, where we see the best sunset that either of us has ever seen in our entire life. Thanks for watching.